Okay. So I guess we can start. So like to introduce myself, my name is Joseph. I'm a fourth year student at Mac and I'm doing BDC right now. And so I'm talking so actually I want to make sure I'm pronouncing your name correct. So how do I pronounce your name?
Ibukun, Ibukun.
Ibukun?
Yeah, yeah, that's
Okay.
correct.
And so like this is it's an African name, right?
Yes, from Nigeria.
From Nigeria. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Were you born in Nigeria or did you come did you immigrate to Canada?
Yeah, so I was born in Nigeria, lived there till I was about 14 or 13. And then, my family moved to France and then I moved to Canada when I was about 16.
Oh, no way. Okay. Okay, that's pretty
Yeah,
interesting.
so so uh went to boarding school in Hamilton. Uh and if you probably are aware of Columbia International College if you're based
Uh,
out.
I don't know it. No.
Sorry, I lost you for a bit there.
Yeah, sorry. I lost my internet connection. I
Yeah.
apologize. Okay, yeah. Yeah, no, I haven't heard of I haven't heard of this of the boarding school actually. No.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
don't actually know too much about Hamilton.
okay, okay. That's
Yeah.
fine.
I'm just here for school. But yeah, so you're an entrepreneur, right?
Yes, yeah.
I guess you could just start by telling us a little bit about your business.
Yeah, so Select essentially is doing an alternative, a completely non-insertion based alternative for pap smears for a start. The core of what we do is the core of our technology is nanotechnology based. We have this proprietary nanomaterial that's able to both extract and stabilize viral DNA, as well as cervical cells and endothelial cells from menstrual blood or any form of vaginal fluids. Um, so that's essentially what we do. We're essentially a collection device, and this collection device enables um, gold standard lab processing. So it's compatible with the gold standard lab processing and also makes it more efficient. So that's where we differentiate. There's a lot of companies out there. There's a few of them coming up who are, you know, trying to do something similar, but we're the only company using nanotechnology to approach this problem. And that gives us a leverage of compatibility, a lower price point, and complete non-insertion based collection device. And the apart from HPV and cervical cancer screening, this can also be used for endometriosis research and other reproductive illnesses. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's really cool. Like it has a lot of uses.
Yeah.
And so it's essentially like an alternative to pap smears,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Yeah. So like I was wondering myself, where'd you get this idea from? Like did a doctor highlight this clinical need or like have you had any bad experiences with pap smears?
Yeah, so the idea came out from my co-founder who's the inventor of the technology. She had a very painful experience with pap smears and she decided to create Select completely out of spite, is what she would say. And so just using her nanotechnology engineering background, it started off as a fourth year design project and it has since evolved into like a master's program where she's developing the IP and things like that. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's pretty cool then. So um so like essentially so a pap smear essentially is just it's used to collect like cervical or cervical and vaginal cells.
Local cells, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm just wondering what like how does the nanotechnology work in the collection of these cells? Like what role does it play?
Yeah,
Or
so
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No, okay, yeah, you go
Maybe
on.
clarify, yeah. You can clarify a bit
Oh,
more.
sorry. Because like I remember before you mentioned that like you also collect the eDNA. So is
The
the
viral
role
data, yeah.
yeah, so is the role of the nanotechnology does that help with the collection of cells or the collection of DNA?
So of the cells and of the viral
Or
DNA.
both. Okay.
So whatever's contained extracellularly will be captured, um, and obviously the DNA of the cells themselves, but not red blood cells. or anything like that. So we're not interested in the blood itself.
Okay, that's interesting. And then yeah, and then you go and then you'll collect the cells and the DNA and then you send it out for laboratory testing.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So
Okay.
it stabilizes it as well. So it's good for as long as a year. And yeah, like they just apply the same, they just essentially lyse the cells, elute, and apply the HPV DNA kit.
Okay. Yeah, I mean it's really cool technology. I really think it's a good idea. But one of the main reasons I wanted to talk to you is because so like like we've talked to other people before, like we've talked to health professionals and and scientists, but you're the first person who we've talked to who's actually an entrepreneur, and I think it's really interesting because like we're a women's health associated, a women's health association, but and there's
Mm.
a disproportionate amount of women in entrepreneurship uh exact like like they're like compared to men like there's like statistically there's more
Yeah.
men in this area so like do you like have you
Yes.
faced any challenges like like or like what how has entrepreneurship been like for you like do you have any advice for like any of the other women who may be interested in this and
Yeah.
that sort of thing?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think that for me, my personal journey has just been like, because I've been in the health tech space, I have passion for this.
Mhm.
And like at some point I was like, I want to start my own company. And so that was kind of like the journey for me. And I've seen people jump into entrepreneurship at different stages of their career. Some people would be right out of school, like my co-founder. Some people like after many years. I think whatever you choose, there's a lot of learning to do for anyone in whatever stage, right? Yes, for someone who's maybe had experience in industry, um, there are some pluses to that. However, I think, there's nothing can really prepare you for starting your own company and being an entrepreneur than actually starting it out, right? And so the advice I'll give to just anyone, or specifically women who are looking to explore entrepreneurship is, just to jump at it, like, and just go as hard as you can, right? And surround yourself with the right support. And it will surprise you how much support is out there, how much people will be there cheering you on, how much resources you can tap into. I think prior to going into entrepreneurship, like I had no idea of just the immense support that we'll be able to get. But I think once you can find a viable idea, you can do the validation, you know that this is a real problem you're solving. That's really the starting point, and the sky's the limit from there on.
Okay. And so like when you mentioned support, like what exactly is the support for you? Like business incubators, like physicians that you're working with, that sort of thing, like just friends and family.
Exactly. So a lot of it has come from incubators.
Hmm.
One of the things that we have done as an early startup is to like literally get as much as we can. So we're part of like at least 12 incubators, right?
No
And
way.
the kind of support you get varies. I know one of our mentors who at the early stages of her company, she did about 50.
50
So
incubators?
yeah,
Oh wow.
incubators. So it's just, I mean, apart from like just being wary of like mentor whiplash, I think there's just a lot to glean from that support, like whether it's in form of like being aware of pitch competitions, grants, just opportunities that you can use uh, to build your business without breaking the bank, especially in those early stages, is very useful. And just the advice as well. I think everyone who is well-meaning has something good to say, and they like it will probably come up in different stages of your business, but just as you do more of it, it becomes clearer and clearer what needs to be applied when.
Hmm.
But yeah, huge portion of the support is been from, the incubators, mentors, and things like that.
Yeah. I mean, at McMaster we have the Forge. So I mean, if anybody watching is interested in starting their own business and they're at McMaster, like the Forge is a very helpful incubator. So have you worked with the Forge? Since you mentioned you've worked with 12 incubators.
Yes, so
Okay.
we're with Innovation Factory.
Okay.
We applied to the Forge, but because we had Synapse going at the same time, like they said we can apply later on. So
Hmm.
we're just gonna apply for the next cohort.
Okay.
Innovation Factory, Synapse, Velocity, Mars, there's a whole bunch of them.
Oh, okay. All right, that's interesting. And I mean, I'm guessing that they're all very supportive. Like like you said, like you received a lot of support. But have you received any criticism?
Yeah, I mean, I think criticism is always welcome
Hmm.
because it just helps you to think thoroughly and making sure that like there's no holes in, whatever strategy you're going with. So, on the journey, not everyone will be like, "Yeah, you're doing this,"
Yeah.
uh, and just like I think it's also important to hear like people's concerns and people raising flags. It just helps you to be more thorough with what you're doing and understand it in all its dimensions.
Okay. So like, is that like your main way of dealing with criticism is just looking at it from a constructive mindset?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. That's really cool. And then, so, like you're still in the early startup stage, right?
Yes.
So like, as someone who's, who's an entrepreneur who has a startup, what exactly do you want to achieve in the upcoming years? So I forgot if you said you have a patent or not, that sort of thing. So like, what exactly are you looking to achieve in the next few years? Like your
Yes.
milestone.
And so we have a PCT patent underway. So it's
Okay.
being processed right now. Um, in terms of what we want to achieve, we want to just make sure that we're able to make the most impact as possible. The path to that is still something that we're trying to validate.
Mm-hmm.
But more than anything, it's being able to use this technology to serve people who really need it. Because when you think of people who, whether it's people who've gone through trauma, people um, who have some cultural sensitivity, or just maybe gender diverse individuals who may not be comfortable inserting anything, and that's been a huge barrier to life-saving screening. So like that's really what we're trying to serve with this technology. So for us, it's like if we're able to make the most impact, we're able to get this in the hands of people that need it the most. I think that's the most fulfilling part. Um, and so we're just trying to figure out the best way to get there. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I really hope to see this product in the market soon.
yeah.
I really think it's a good product. I think maybe many of the people in our community could use this as well. And I
Hmm.
mean, yeah, I don't want to keep you for too long. I guess I'll ask you one last question.
Yeah.
And I'll just ask you like, what has been the biggest challenge so far for you?
Um, I think the biggest challenge has been just being able to, first of all, like being able to find the funding to just keep things going.
Funding, yeah,
Yeah, because like when you're doing like a healthcare related device, it's a long journey. It's also capital
yeah,
intensive.
yeah. It's
So just being
expensive.
strategic with that. I think also it would be like getting in touch with doctors. Doctors are could be very difficult to
Yeah,
get a hold of because there's a lot that you can glean from that, a lot of validation. So like yes, we do have like 20 letters of intent signed from GPs, but I feel like even that is not enough. Like I want to keep talking to them. I want to keep hearing
mhm,
from more people. But it could just be a little difficult reaching them. And so
yeah.
I've tried to leverage like conferences and things like that to see them. Yeah.
Okay. So is it like when meeting with physicians, is your main goal to like consult with them and get them on board your project, or like do you actually want to get like investments from these doctors?
Not necessarily investments. It's
Do
less
you want
investments
investments?
and more validation, more
Validation, consulting.
understanding the challenges, understanding, getting them to poke holes with our
Yeah,
solution. Yeah, and
that's
just
what's
making
important.
sure that we're building the right thing.
Yeah. Yeah, just making sure it's really validated.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess if you have any closing remarks or anything you want to end off with, like any advice for anyone, feel free.
Yeah. I mean, I think I've spoken on like
Yeah.
for women. Um, yeah, I think I'll just say that entrepreneurship is not as scary as it may seem.
Okay,
Once you take the
good to hear.
jump, it gets easier. I mean, you just find a way to swim somehow.
Hmm.
Yeah,
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 you learn by doing.
yeah, exactly.
All right. Okay, well, thank you so much for your time. I think it's a really, I hope it'll inspire a lot of people to, maybe they can have their own, they can have their own businesses, their own startups. It'll be
Mhm.
nice to see more women
Yeah.
in the field.
Hmm.
And yeah, I mean, thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you, Joseph.
All
Thanks
right.
for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah.